What's up, you guys? Yes, today is daily vlog number 35. Mesh current Mondays, baby.
Alright, so here's the circuit. We're going to use mesh current method to evaluate. With mesh current, it's useful to know where your power sources are. So here we have the 10 volt, and here we have the 2 ampere current source. You're going to want to start by creating the meshes. So you can make the loops like this. And these are kind of just arbitrary values of current that they don't really exist, but it's
What you do if you want to know
how to evaluate a circuit using.
the method.
So we could call it like I1, I2, and I3. After that, you want to denote some charges for the resistors. Again, these don't really exist, or like it doesn't really matter the order, but as long as you keep it consistent throughout the entire problem. So once we have that, we can start evaluating the circuit. So we can start line 1, and then we're going to be using Kirchhoff voltage law. So we'll start by looking at this left part. This left part right here. And then we'll start with this is 10 volts. And here we got
This baby boy.
Here we got the current running through this 1 ohm resistor, and then we can write that as I1 times the 1 ohm resistor. Boop, boop. And then an easy way to visualize this is when you have this resistor, the current 1 is going from positive to negative. So this is the positive side, and from this I2 is going from negative to positive. So when you write it for Kirchhoff's, it's going to be 5 for the 5 ohm resistor, and we'll have the I1 minus I2 equals 0. And we'll continue this process for the other segment.
Like this. Baby, baby, boo boo, baby, boo boo.
With the 5. And then from here, it's going for the negative. So the I2 is still negative. And it'll be like,
I made an oopsie.
so when you look at this current, it's going like this. So for this 10, it's supposed to be negative to positive. So right here,
You have to add a little minus. Don't you know?
so by continuing the process, we have this 5. It's a similar thing as this. It's the same one, but it's just from the next current. And then we have this 2 from I2, and then we have this resistor going from 10, and then this current's going in this way, so it's going from positive to negative. So it's going to be I2 minus I3. And for this last segment, we have this mesh current coming in this way. So if you want to do this, we have 2 amps. And then I3 is opposing it. So for this segment, we know that I3 is equal to negative 2 amps. And once we have all three of these equations set up, we could use algebra to evaluate what their respective currents will be.
Special cameo from Ade Boo Boo.
Hello.
So for this segment, we gotta evaluate like terms. So we start with this 10 and then distribute. And we'll have I1 plus 5I1 minus I2 is equal to 0. And then, so you could write that as 6I1 minus I2 minus 10 equal to 0. The second portion, we got 5I1 minus 5I2 plus 2I2 plus 10I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. And simplifying that,
Wow, just like magic.
it's been evaluated. So simplified it, combined like terms and stuff, and then we have this. And if you remember before, for this I3, it's equivalent to this negative 2 amps. So we could just throw that in here, and we'll get 1 plus 7 I2 plus 2 equals 0. Alright, so after you combine the two equations, you could solve for these two. So here are the two currents I was able to find. And then the utility of using this mesh current is if once you know these, you could find anything you want within these components. So for example, if you want to find like voltage in between this resistor, this 5 ohm, you could write it as V of 5 ohms. That's very beautiful, huh? You could write it as and then it would be I1 minus I2. In this case, we could just put 80/47 minus 10/47. And then plug that in.
7.45 volts, baby.
And you do that for all these boys. Like, if I don't know this one, it would just be, there wouldn't be the interference with these two meshes, so it would just be the 1 times the I1. So it would just be equivalent to whatever this is equal to. Oh shit, I mean poop.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. And that was Mesh Current Mondays. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.